Good afternoon, guys. I hope you're doing well. Just going to wait a couple of minutes, just see whether we get a few more people jump on, a few last-minute stragglers. So just to double check before we kick off, down the bottom or in the control bar, you should see the option there for chat. So if you can hear me, if you can see me, just type in the chat there just to let me know that the techs are all working as it should be. That's good, perfect. All seems to be going well. Good stuff. I hope everyone's had a good day. I'm looking forward to getting stuck in and walking through a little bit about Facebook ads and what you can do and the best ways that you can hopefully use those for your business to try and bring in some new business and push sales, increase sales. So I had a few people asking for this. So what my plan is today is really just to walk you through, rather than doing a sort of PowerPoint presentation or something like that. I thought what I'll do, I'll just set up an ad. We'll jump into the back end of my Facebook ads account, let you have a look at that and kind of show you the layout and what's going on and how I use it. And then I'll just run through and I'll set up a Facebook ad for just as if it was for a cafe as an example, just to give you an idea. And as we go through, at any point, if there's anything you're not sure about, just feel free just to type into that chat box down the bottom there. Any questions you've got about anything, I will try and make a point to stop and just make sure that I'm not moving too quick. It's a very bad habit of mine when things become second nature to kind of push through things quickly. So feel free to jump in and stop me at any point if there's anything you're not sure about. But hopefully you'll come away from today with a better understanding of the Facebook ads platform and how you can use it for your business. So just before we kick in, I've just on this page here, the Business Manager page, I'm assuming that you've got this set up for your business. And if you haven't, I would suggest that you do that. To run ads successfully, and there's a big difference between just boosting a post and running ads through the Facebook ads platform. To do that successfully and to manage it properly, you need to go in through Business Manager. So if you have got that, hopefully you'll get a little bit more of a feel for the layout of that today. If you haven't, you can just jump over to the URL that you see up the top here, and you'll be able to just set, it literally takes a couple of minutes. You can set up the Business Manager account. And from there, you can manage your Facebook page, you can manage your ads account, you manage your audiences, your Facebook pixel. Everything's done under the one umbrella. So definitely, if you haven't got it already, well worth doing. So what we'll do, we'll just jump across now to the platform. So once you've logged into Business Manager, this is basically just a screen that you're going to get where you can see exactly what's going on in your account. Shows you what you spent. You can see here all of the results for the last. You can change the parameters. Obviously, that's the last 30 days in this account. What's been spent, how many impressions there are, and the kind of traction that you're getting with your ads. So, from inside the main menu of Business Manager, what you're going to do is just go across to Ads Manager here, and this will take you inside the Facebook Ads account where you're going to manage all of your campaigns and adverts. So the first thing to really be aware of is there's three main tiers that you're going to focus on, and you can see those here. So the first one being campaigns, and that's highlighted, so that's the tab that we're in at the moment. The next one is ad sets, and then you've got ads. So I think the other thing I want to get across here is that don't be too overwhelmed by this at this point. I remember logging in here for the first time and just being completely blown away and not really understanding anything. You don't need, like with many of these tools, you don't need to understand it all. All you need to do is understand enough to get it doing what you need it to do. It's got a lot of capabilities that aren't going to be necessary. So just take it one step at a time, and I'll try and walk it through as slowly as I can. And as I said, feel free to jump in with any questions as we go through if there's anything that I'm glossing over that doesn't make sense to you. So just to give you some context on these, the campaign level that's a kind of a main overview and the objective of what you're looking to do. So in the case of cafes, maybe that's something like menu items, or it could be seasonal things. So Christmas menus, Christmas promotions. It's basically the higher level of what you're looking to set up and what your campaign is going to be about. Again, don't worry too much about that. I ran for quite a long time with just one campaign and just sat lots of ad sets and lots of ads underneath that one campaign. So don't overthink this. The main thing, if you haven't used this before, just get stuck in and have a play around. There's nothing here that you can really break or go too badly wrong with. So don't get too caught up in the structure at the campaign level. Doesn't matter if you've only got one at this point. Sitting below the campaigns is the ad sets. Now the ad sets, that's where you can control the audience, so who the ad's going to go to, and also the budget, what you're going to spend per day, per week, in total. You can set all of those parameters inside there under the ad set level. And also, in addition to that, you can really refine the targeting based on age, demographics, interests, and so on. So once you've got your campaign, the ad set, that level, that's where you're going to determine who it goes out to. And then underneath that, you move down into the ads. So there's the specific ads that sit underneath the ad set campaigns. Once you've got those all set up, you can mix and match and you can swap them around and do pretty much whatever you want to do with that. So it's probably going to make more sense as we go through, but that's just a very brief overview of those three tiers. So let's jump in and start working through so you can see at each different level what the stage looks like. So if we take a cafe example, let's just say we're going to, this campaign, let's set this as lunchtime specials. So we're going to go ahead and name the campaign lunchtime specials. So we'll just put that in there as a new campaign. You can, once you've got them set up, as you can see there, you can choose existing campaigns if you want to reuse them. For the purpose of this, we'll just go through and we'll just call it a new campaign. So with this, you're going to choose first off your objective. So when you're working out your ads and your campaigns, you need to think about what you want. So what are you offering and what do you want people to do? And based on that is going to determine what the main objective is. So let's say in this example, we want to send people to the website. There's a couple of options that you can use there. One would be traffic. That's going to track visits to the website, and conversions as well. You can set a conversion event as somebody going to your homepage or going to your specials page, your booking page, or whatever you want them to do. You can also select engagement. So if you're putting a post up that's encouraging people to take an action, so tag a friend or take some sort of action in the comments, then by selecting engagement, that the algorithm, the Facebook ad algorithm is going to deliver your ad to people who are more likely to take that kind of action. So people that engage with this kind of post all the time are more likely to get shown from there. And there's a number of different options that you've got there. I won't go through them all. Typically, we will just use, we'll use traffic or we'll use conversion. So one of those two for our specific business. For yours, you might want to be using engagement. So something where you're going to get people taking some sort of action on there in the comments in relation to the post that you've put up. So once you've selected that for this purpose, let's just go ahead, or let's use engagement because it's probably more realistic for this scenario. It's obviously, this ad is very different to the ads we run for our business, but the principle remains the same. So we're going to, as you come down here, you're going to see that it's basically saying this is campaign name. We're going to, let's just change that name. So we'll call it lunch specials. You can, at this point, if you want to create an A/B test, we won't, for the context and the content of this presentation, we won't go through that. But once you get into this platform, there is a lot of things you can do to enhance what you've already got running, try different things, and just to make sure you're getting the best return possible. But we'll just skip that for this purpose here. So now you can see over here, you've got the kind of progress of where you're at. So there's the three levels we spoke about: campaign, ad set, and ad. And this checks off as you've done them and shows you where you are. So we've set the campaign up. That's all done. We're now into the ad set. So here we're going to talk about the audience, where we want to place the ads, how much we're going to spend, and how long it's going to run for. So this one here, let's say the ad set name. So with this audience, we want, let's say we're gonna target, or we want to know, we're setting this up for lunchtime customers. So people that are likely to engage or buy or come in and be interested in what we're going to put as an ad under the lunchtime customers banner. Here you've got the option now to start setting the audience that you want, and this is where you can get very granular with who you target, any ads under this ad set, who you target these to. So as you go through, and the more audiences you build in here, you can see here you've got the option to use saved audiences. So every time you create an audience, you can save it, and then when you come back and set up another ad set or another ad, you don't have to redo it all again. So when you're first using this, there's a bit of work that you can put in at the front end that does save you a lot of time later on. So once you've done that, and I think this is why people get daunted about it, once you've done it, if you save it correctly, you can then save a lot of time. Every campaign you set up or every ad you set up, it doesn't need to take very long at all to get it done. Once you've got that structure in place, you can just add ads into ad sets or add ad sets into campaigns, and it can be done very, very quickly. So you don't feel you have to pay someone to do this sort of thing. A little bit of time invested in learning how to do it can save you a lot of money in paying someone else to do it. You can manage the results probably better than most people once you know what you're looking for, and it will save you a lot of time as well once you've got that structure set up. So for the purpose of this, we'll pretend we've got no audiences set up. So we'll just skip the custom audience selection there. So you come down here to location. Now you can see at the moment it's defaulted to Australia. I'm going to take that out. So you can just select that, delete that there, because for lunchtime customers, there's no point in us targeting the whole of Australia. Obviously, we just want to target people close to where we are. So for the purpose of here, you can just, as you start typing in, it's going to auto suggest. I'm going to select North Sydney there. So we're looking to target people in the North Sydney area. You can see it drops a pin onto the map, and you've got a range or a radius there that you can then decide to increase or decrease. It's always set in miles, which I always find that a little bit odd, but you can decrease that. So you might say you want to just go down to 5 miles and target, or maybe even, if you can, I'm not sure you can go less than 10, but we'll leave it at 10 for the purpose of here. I think 10 is probably the minimum by the looks of it. I've never gone that far down. But 10, so at the moment you're going to be targeting people in North Sydney that are within the radius of where you are of North Sydney, within 10 miles. You can also then choose to change the age of the people. So you could just, I won't bother changing that here, but if you want to, you can go in and change the age of the people that you're targeting. So maybe you've got a demographic, you know, and some cafe owners deal predominantly with older people. Some are targeting younger. So you can set that if you want to. Again, with genders, you can change that should you wish to. I typically don't mess around with that too much. We will change the ads on here. So we for our type of ads, we don't usually target people below sort of 24, 25 years old, but you know your customers, you know the people that you're trying to target. So just set those parameters so that you're not really targeting it to people that aren't going to be interested in your product, your offer, and your post. You come down, you can change languages. Well, I never bother with that. Moving to this, you do want to move into here, into these. Let me just see, hang on a sec, sorry, that one there. Yeah, so you can leave that one there, that's changed, the format there has changed now. But that, you don't need to worry about that one too, you just go, all people is fine as far as that's concerned. So once you've done that, you're now moving down to the placements as to where you want them. Now this, with the ads that we've run, one thing I've noticed is that the automatic placements just dumps your ads everywhere. And the cost per click, which is how much it's costing you to get people to take an action, typically when I've done this has been higher. So I usually just go into manual placements. When you do this, you get the option to really choose exactly where your ad's going to be shown. It gives you a little preview of what that's going to look like as well. So I will, for the purpose of this, would leave it on Instagram because that typically works quite well. but you might take out audience network there and leave it like that. And then as you go through, you can decide where you want this to show. So if you want to uncheck it from, I mean, obviously you're going to want it in the feeds. That's a given that you'd leave it in there. But you might want to, for example, you might want to take it out of video feeds. You might want to take it out of Instagram Explore. I usually, this is what I'm doing now, is what I usually do for my own ads. In-stream videos, probably take it out of that because we're not doing, this is not a video ad that we're putting in. And the same down here, I'll take it out of there and just leave it like that. So what you need to bear in mind with Facebook make things very easy for you to spend money. And one of the biggest earners they've had is the boost button, because boosting makes it very quick and very simple for you to put an ad up, but it doesn't give you as much control as this process. And the same applies to what we've just gone through here with the automatic placements. If you just leave that, that's checked by default. It's very easy just to leave that and ignore it. And to a degree, that's what they want you to do. But I would suggest play around with this. Just take it out of where you don't want it, where it's not going to be relevant to deliver it. And then once you've done that, you can, of course, then move on to the next section. So you now, after you've done the section here about where the ad's going to be shown, you're coming down and talking about the budget and how long the ad's going to be running for, the schedule. So you can come down here, just ignore these first two and come down to the daily budget. This is the one that you really want to focus on. So here you might put in whatever you want to do. So let's say $5 a day. You put that in there, move down to the next section. Now, again, be careful because you can see it's defaulted here to say run the ad continuously. It's very easy to set an ad up and forget about the fact that you've actually done that. So make sure you don't do that, because if you get caught up in business and life and forget about that, this ad's just going to keep running, and it might be that it's not relevant, or you might just end up spending a lot of money that you don't want to. So always make a point of setting a start and end date. When you're doing this, the other thing to consider is that the algorithm for Facebook ads typically will take a good 7 to 10 days to bed in. And what that means is that as the ad's delivering, and as in this case, it's working out who's likely to engage with this ad, it's learning and improving, and then it's sending it to other people, and it's refining all the time. It's not a process that happens quickly. It does take a good few days. So if you only run an ad for 2, 3, 4, 5, even a week, you're not going to get the best result. You're not going to get the best return that you possibly can. So you're better off putting a lower spend per day if you're you're working out what you want to budget to spend on the ad in total. Put a lower spend per day, but make sure you run it ideally for about 14 days, if not longer, so that it gives the algorithm enough time. The other big advantage to setting an end date as opposed to running it continuously is that it tells the algorithm, and it tells Facebook that in order for you to be encouraged to continue spending, i.e. to extend this ad or to run more ads, keep giving them more business, more money, the algorithm knows with an end date that it has to deliver results. It's got to deliver a good return on your investment. Otherwise, like anything, you're not likely to spend, you're not likely to carry on. So a couple of really good benefits in setting that there. Again, you can see what it's doing here. It's defaulting to a month. So they're quite cheeky with the way they set this up. So do go through, especially in the early stages when you're learning where to best, or how to best set up your ads. Make sure you do go through and just don't click next without double checking what they've selected as a default. So with this one here, I'm just going to take it back so you can see you've got today's date here. So I've typically just set that for just over 2 weeks. So let's set it for there, and then it tells you here, based on your spend, based on how many days, this is the amount that you're going to spend. You can see, hopefully you can see that just down the bottom there. You can see you're going to spend $88 in total. And that's your ad set now all complete. Once you've done that, you can click continue, and you can then just move into the final stage, which is setting up the actual advert that's going to be delivered, or adverts that are going to be delivered underneath that underneath that ad set. So I'm aware I'm moving fairly quickly as there's a bit to cover, and I want to make sure that I try and get through as much of it in as much detail as I can. But just a quick check-in, if there is anything about what we've covered in relation to the campaign and ad set setup, just feel free to post in the chat, in either the chat or the Q&A section, which you can find at the bottom of the screen or on the control panel for Zoom. I'll just give you a minute to do that. So if anyone's got any questions about what we've covered so far, just feel free to let me know, and then we'll go through those if there are any, and then we'll move on to the advert stage. All right, perfect. So no questions at this stage, which is either a good thing because I've covered it in detail, or everyone's completely confused and too scared to ask. So hopefully it's the first of those two things. Don't be shy though. If there is anything you're not sure about, feel free, just let me know. As I said, it's second nature once you've been doing things, as you know, for a while, and it can be easy to kind of forget how it is when you look at something for the first time. And I do remember looking at this platform the first time I came in and just thinking, oh God, I'm going to get someone else to do it because it's too complicated. But it is just getting used to it, the same as anything, bit of practice. And once you've had a little bit of guidance, hopefully that will make it easier for you. All right, so now we've got the campaign and the ad set all ready to go and all set up and in place. We're going to move on to adding the ad. So in this ad, I'm going to use this one as an example, purely because it's one of my favorite dishes, which I need to learn how to spell. Okay, so a few problems there. In this example, we're going to use chicken schnitzel as one of the ads that we're going to set up. So that's going to sit underneath the ad set for lunchtime customers, which is sitting under the ad of menu items and lunch specials. So once we've done that, you can see here, you've got the option, if you've got multiple pages or multiple businesses, you've got the option to choose where the identity is that is going to have this ad sat. So I'll use this, I'll just use that, but if you wanted to, any page that you manage or any account that you manage, you can select that there. Again, same with the page here, exactly the same process. And the other thing you can do is you can use existing posts. So you can see here, if you decide to use an existing post, you'll just select this here, and then you can either type in the ID, find the ID, or search for the post on the page. Just by selecting the page here. So once you know you've got the right page selected, you can see here, I could choose any of these previous posts that are on the business page or the Instagram account, not that there's any on there, but you can choose any of these existing posts to turn those into an ad. In the same way you would boost that post, this is a kind of more detailed, more in-depth way of adding those posts into ad sets and campaigns. So that's an option there. For the purpose of this one, let's just go through and set it up from scratch, just so you can see what that looks like from the start. So in case you don't want to use a post or you'd like to set something up different, I will quite often set up different ads because sometimes with the posts you might want to deliver something in the ad that's not in the post. So whatever works for you, but let's just have a look at how that goes from the very beginning. You can see now I've done that. There's a few more options been added here. And again, it's just walking you through where you're at the moment. So now we're looking at the format of the ad. This is basically what type of ad are you going to be looking at? And the option we've got for this here is, it will depend on the type of ad that you're setting up. Sometimes you will get more options here. For this one, we've just got a single image or video. So we're going to select that. That's checked there. Move on to the next section here. Now we're going to add media. So here, we're just going to add an image. It's an image ad, not a video. This takes you to all of the images you've used previously on ads or inside Facebook. If you haven't got the image that you want, you're just going to click upload. Let's see what we've got. I found one before. There's the schnitzel picture. So you're going to select that picture. That's just uploading now. And then once that's uploaded, you can select that picture just by clicking continue, and you can see that's now sitting in the advert there. Okay, so we've got the advert. Now we're going to move down to the links. So there's a couple of things we're going to do here. This one basically is going to give you the option of where you want to send people, where you want them to go, and what you want them to do. So you can choose one of the options down here. You might put learn more, and this is the destination of where you would like to send that person when they click on learn more. So I'll just select a random, just going to select a random URL there. And then we have that all set up. Yep, perfect. So that's what the other thing you can do here is play around with the text. So what you want to do is make sure that you're putting something in with a good, based on what you want people to do. You need to make sure you're communicating that in the posts so that you're basically getting people to take some sort of action, unless it's just a pure brand awareness, which I'm not sure I'm entirely convinced that's a good idea. You want people to take an action so that you can gauge how successful the ads have been. So let's just put, this week only. So you can see, just typing that in there, it's going to put the text across here, and we can just put whatever you want to put in there in relation to the deal, and obviously as much or as little text as you want to. Once you've got the ad looking the way that you want it to, you can see a preview here. You can actually as well, if you want to, you can get different views and look at different ways it's going to present on the different platforms. You can send it, I won't do it now, but just click any of these here and it's going to give you a different view of how it might appear on Instagram or in stories, in different feeds and so on. So that's your ad all set up there. We've got the call to action, we've got where it's going to send people based on the campaign and the ad set that we've set up. And then here you've just got tracking, which actually did have I had a message from Maria about how to track people that have been to the website. And that's done through the Facebook Pixel. And it's kind of a little bit beyond the scope of what we're talking about today. But the Facebook Pixel basically is a piece of code that you can get your web developer, or if you've got Wix, even WordPress or one of the bigger platforms, it's actually pretty straightforward to do yourself if you've got access to the back end. Squarespace is pretty easy on there as well. That kind of website, it is straightforward. So inside your business manager, under Ads Manager, there's another section called Events Manager where you can get your Facebook Pixel, that little bit of code. You put that onto the website, and from there you can then actually track people that have been to the website, and you can deliver certain ads based on the actions and the pages that those people have taken. So you probably noticed yourself, you might have been on a website and not even looked at that business on Facebook, but all of a sudden you're on Facebook and you get an advert from them. That's how it's done. It's done through the Pixel. It is a very clever, very useful bit of technology. So as I said, probably a little bit further on from what we're talking about today. I will potentially make a video just about that, just to show you how to do that. But there's some really good uses to that. So you can target people. For example, if we take our business as an example, we know whether people have looked at businesses in Canberra, in Sydney, or in Brisbane. And from there, we can then serve them ads of businesses that we have for sale in that area. So we're not showing ads of a Sydney listing to somebody that's through their actions on the website shown us that they're interested in businesses in Brisbane. So yeah, it's very, very clever and very useful, but something maybe for a little bit further down the track. So once you're happy with everything in there and you've set it all up, all you need to do then is just click confirm at the bottom there, and that's going to set the ad up. And I'll let that have a think about it. Sometimes it sits in review or waits for approval. But once there, you can see it's still in draft at the moment. So that one there, once it's finalised and published, it will either go active straight away or it'll sit in review. Let's just have a look. So it's in review. So when I've done what we've just done now and got that set up, typically I'll just leave this ticking over in the background and then come back periodically and just refresh the page and double check and make sure it's running. You can see once it's running, it's set to active as these ones are here. So that's when, now you've got that set up, you've got your lunch specials and you've got your ad set up to deliver, and you've got one ad running under there. It's then very easy just to add more ads to that ad set. So as we said, once you've done the groundwork and you've got that stage all set up, then it's pretty straightforward. You could add, you know, another 4 or 5 different lunch special dishes as separate adverts. And if I just show you under Canberra, for example, if we look in here, so we're at the ad set level now, which is delivering the ads in this ad set to Canberra buyers. And the adverts underneath that campaign, you can see there's 3 of them. The key thing to remember here, and one thing I wasn't sure about when I first started doing this, is that when you see the budget of $10, that relates to this ad set. It's not $10 per advert. So if you've set your budget in the ad set for $10 a day, as you can see I've done here, you could put underneath in ads, you could put 10, 15, 20 different ads of all your different dishes. And those will be rotated and they'll be shown all as part of your spend on $10. So it's kind of good in a way if you've got a smaller audience or you're targeting a smaller area to have a good few different adverts underneath that ad set. So people aren't seeing the same ad all the time. They're getting something different and something, that's not just completely repetitive all the time. So that's a good thing to do. And as I said, now you've got that structure set up to add a dish, or if you want to, let's say, for example, you decided you want to put a new ad in here, you can just go and turn one of these ads off. So you can click it off. And that's literally all you do. Just toggle it to off and that ad now won't deliver. This campaign will still be spending $10 a day in total, but now just delivering 2 ads instead of 3. And we'll just put that back on before I forget. So there's plenty of things you can do in there. As I said, there is a lot going on inside here. That's a very brief overview of what the basics are in order to get a campaign, an ad set, and some ads up and running. Obviously, once you've done that, it's then about making sure that you're getting the results and the return that you want to. When you go into the Ads Manager dashboard, so you go in from the homepage, and I would suggest you do this as often as you can, just to make sure that you're getting a good return on what you're spending. And what I look for in here, so I'm looking at these campaigns here. So if we take Sydney listings as an example, this is being this is listings of businesses in Sydney. We're spending around, I think, let's just have a look actually. You click in there, it's going to take you to the ad set. So it's showing you that we're spending $10 a day. On that $10 a day, you can see at the moment, we're getting clicks, or people come to the website for 18 cents per click, which is pretty cheap. That's pretty good. What you will find with Facebook versus Google is that the ad quality is a little bit lower, but these are just some of the numbers you want to be looking at. So look at how many people you've reached, how many impressions the ads have had, and what it's costing you per action. So that's per click or per engagement, or whatever it is that you've set the objective up to be, and go from there. And that's where, if you start to see that this cost is going up a bit, that's a sign that you need to make some changes. So maybe the ads are getting a bit stale. So jump in and change some ads. Maybe look at the targeting and retarget, or play around with your audience, or expand the audience inside the ad set. But these, again, don't get too caught up in it, but do be aware of it, just to make sure that you're not wasting money, and it's not costing you too much to do that. And try and monitor any leads or inquiries that you get. If it's possible for you to work out whether they came from that ad, then that's fantastic. With cafes, it is quite difficult. With us, we're asking people to fill out a non-disclosure agreement or a confidentiality agreement. So it's a lot easier for us to monitor, you know, how many people have looked at the ads, how many people from there have then filled out a form or gone to a web page that we've got that tracks conversions. So it's a little bit easier for us, but I think you can normally gauge with Facebook when a campaign or when an ad's working well. And if you get this right, it should almost be like turning on and off the tap. You need some more business, you need some more inquiries, you've kind of got your ads dialed into where they should be. You can always put the spend up a little bit. And I would suggest when you do that, don't just go crazy and double the ad spend. Put it up incrementally, quite slowly, and that gives the algorithm a better chance to kind of work out what changes you've made, and just make sure that you're not spending any more than you have to. You might find another sort of $4 or $5 a day makes a very big difference. But typically, my experience with having food businesses and cafes, when I've done this and done it well, you can tell pretty quickly. People talk to you at the counter, they'll tell you they've seen the ad, or you just generally feel a bit of an uplift in business when you do get this right. So but hopefully that's given you a bit of an insight. Just let me know, have you got any questions about the overall picture, what we've looked at, anything to do with how we've structured that, or anything I haven't covered that you weren't sure about? Just in the chat box at the bottom, please just feel free to jump in and type any questions you've got. I want to make sure that you come off of this call understanding enough to hopefully jump in and have a crack. I really encourage you to give it a try. As I said, try not to be put off or daunted by that platform when you look at it for the first time. But like anything, just get in there, play around. And if you do have any questions after we've finished and you jump in and try that, obviously if you're watching this inside the GSE Hub members area, then there's a comment section below, there will be a comment section below where you can type any questions, or you can just use the help desk or reach out by email. More than happy to help you to do that. So yep, just feel free, just give you 1 minute to do that, and hopefully if there's no other questions, we can wrap up and let you get on your way. All right, so I've got that's a good question actually from Chris here. Chris is asking about audiences and where you can set audiences up. So one of the things you can do, as we mentioned, when we went through the ad process, you'll remember we looked at where to set up, or when you create an audience, how you can save it. So that's one way of doing it. The other way you can do it, if you come into business tools, this basically takes you to where you can do anything else other than the ads related to the Facebook advertising platform. If you go across to audiences here, then this is going to give you the option to build custom audiences, or what's called lookalike audiences, based on actions that people have taken either previously or in the future. And you can see here in this example, so I've got an audience here of Western Australia. If you hover that over there, it tells you how I've set that up. So you can see there that I've, what have I done? So it's 50 Ks of 50 miles around Bunbury. I'm targeting people aged 24 to 59. And I've set targeted interest there as well around what those people are interested in. And that is basing it on their action of what they like, what they've interacted with, where they might have checked in, all that kind of data that Facebook, as we know, gathers in the background. That's a very targeted ad based to people in that location. And you can see there, it gives you an idea of what the audience size is. So if I was running an advert for Western Australia or Bunbury or somewhere around that area, when I set the ad up, I might just choose that audience, knowing that it's all set exactly the way I want it already. So as I said, once you start building this up in the background, to create new ads, it's very, very quick. It doesn't take long at all. And I've got the same here with, as you can see, like Canberra, same kind of setup there. And the other thing that you can do with that is you can create your own audience based off of these audiences. So if we click on here, I'll just show you quickly what you can do there. So a custom audience is something set up on an action. So let's say I wanted to target people who'd been on and they'd looked at businesses for sale in Sydney. I would choose to create a custom audience, and I would then create that audience based on people who've visited a particular page. And for that example, I would click on website. And you can see here, it defaults to all website visitors, but I would then change that to people who've visited specific web pages, and I would list there the Sydney business listings page. So I know that anyone that's visited that page is interested in a business in Sydney, and we could then target them with a, with a Sydney ad. So there's lots of different things you can do with that, and I won't go down the rabbit hole with that at the moment, but just be aware that as you get into it, you can build on your knowledge and your skill set by playing around, and there's nothing you can do in here that's really going to be that damaging, providing you're watching what you're spending and the return you're getting on that spend. Then I'd encourage you, just try different things, find what works for the people that you're advertising to and what works for your business. And the other thing with lookalikes is once you've created an audience, so you can create what they call a lookalike audience. So you'd select exactly where you want that audience to come from. So it might be an existing audience or an action that they've taken. So we're just choosing that is just basically they're selecting the pixel that we're using, which is the business GSE Business Consultants one there. And then you're going to select what they've done, how you want to target those people, and what it will do, it will actually look at people in the audience that you've already got or that you created, and it will find people very similar to them. So people with similar interests and people that have taken similar actions either on Facebook or across the web that have been tracked using cookies and the Facebook pixel. So that is a good way of getting in front of different people who are similar to the people that you're targeting. Again, I won't drill down into detail on that now. There's probably a whole workshop just on audiences, but as I said, get confident with it, bit of trial and error. When you feel comfortable, make a few changes, try a few different things, and just see exactly what works for you. And yeah, Maria was, so we've covered Maria's point around the pixel. The pixel, again, nothing that's too complicated, but get your web developer to make sure that that's embedded in the website, and then that's gathering data in the background for whenever you decide you might need it, and whenever you decide you might want to create an audience based off people that have taken actions on your website. All right, well, if there's no other questions, as I said, please feel free at any time further down the track as you get into this and you have a go at setting some ads up yourself. Do let me know how you get on, and do feel free, if you're inside the hub, post in the comments there if you need help and support. I'm more than happy to jump in there and make sure that you've got some support. If you're not already in the hub, then do make sure you have a look at that. I'll show you. So if you just go to the gsehub.com.au, that is going to take you to the page that tells you about what's actually involved in the hub. We are offering a couple of options at the moment with a foundation member offer for anybody that wants to come in and have coaching and basically have the full service. It's $99 a month, including GST. That is just till the end of this month. So a very aggressive offer there to get the ball rolling. Or feel free to set up a trial membership. There is limited access, obviously, with the free access to the members area. But on the foundation member and 6 Steps clients, any help or support you need around this, more than happy to answer in the comments below, or feel free to let me know if it suits you better to pick up a one-on-one call. Then as part of the founder member or 6 Steps offer, more than happy to do that for you. All right, guys. Well, again, I hope you found it useful. Good luck. Let me know how you get on, and feel free to let me know at any point if you've got any further questions. And have a great rest of the day.